All right, welcome everybody to the Connection Hangout. Welcome, my name is Paul Tyra, and I am joined by my co-host in Marietta, Georgia, David Asarno. David, are you out there?
Hey, Paul, I am here. How are you this week?
I'm doing great. It doesn't say Marietta, Georgia, though, underneath your bar there. What's going on?
I'm down in Palm Beach, Florida right now. As you can tell, it's not my normal view. So
Yes.
I'm down visiting in the condo again.
So no more polar vortex being frozen up there.
We went for a run this morning along on South Ocean Boulevard. So no, we didn't have a polar vortex. We're in shorts and a t-shirt.
Fantastic, fantastic. Welcome to my world. All right.
Gotta love.
Exactly. Okay, let me do a little bit of housekeeping here. Again, the Connection Hangout is a program that's designed to connect you with celebrities, athletes, industry professionals, corporate executives, and get you connected to know about real people, getting real results, and all the great contributions that everyone's doing here to this great effort of ASEA. This is not a business presentation, nor is it a product presentation. So if you'd like more information specifically on ASEA, the product, or the opportunity, we encourage you to get back with the person who invited you to be on this Hangout. Some of you may actually see a More Info button underneath your screen, and if so, as soon as we're done, go ahead and click on that, and you'll be taken to more information. Also, we'd love to see you contribute and say hi on the comments thread beneath the screen here, so let us know where you're chiming in from. I want to thank Brent Brooks out there, Platinum Executive Brent Brooks, for moderating the comment thread. Again, say hi if you got questions or whatnot. He'll be there to chime in and answer them for you. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to introduce tonight's very special guest. It's ASEA's Managing Director of Public Relations and Communications, Bob Freeze. And Bob is the Managing Director of PR and Communications. His role is responsible for developing and implementing successful PR and communication strategies to both advance and protect the ASEA brand. Specifically, he's responsible for developing and deploying strategic media campaigns to create a positive impression of the ASEA brand and products. He's also responsible for the company's social media initiatives and all communications going to ASEA Field Associates, and he oversees the company's sponsorship and charitable giving initiatives. Basically, he just does everything. Bob has more than 25 years of experience in public relations in both corporate and agency settings, and he's worked in the direct sales industry for more than 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bob Freeze.
Welcome to our Hangout, Bob.
It's great to be with you guys tonight. Thanks for inviting me. I love to collaborate with field leaders, and we've got some great things going on at ASEA, so I'm really grateful to be a part of the Hangout tonight.
Well, we're excited to have you here as well as with ASEA. I mean, if you think about it, it's exciting times. We've grown to the point where we have the luxury of having an in-house PR expert on our team. I was wondering if you could tell a little bit about your background for our viewers, as well as how you got to ASEA.
Okay, sure. I'd love to. As Paul mentioned, I've been in PR for 25 plus years. I went to school to become a PR professional, have either worked in a corporate or an agency setting for the past 25 years. Until 10 years ago, I'd worked in a number of sectors. I started my career in banking. I've been in healthcare, real estate, so a number of different industries. 16 years ago, I was recruited to come to Salt Lake from the Louisville, Kentucky area to help head the public relation initiatives for what was then Salt Lake's largest PR firm, and we were involved in IT with IT clients, real estate clients, banking, so forth. But being in Utah, which is kind of the epicenter of the sales industry, I started doing a lot of consulting with direct sales clients. One of those clients ultimately went and started their own direct sales company, was one of the founders of what is now a very well-known brand in the industry. When they went and started their own company, they called and asked if I would be willing to come aboard and help them establish a global brand, which I did because I had great respect for this individual. Over about a 6-year period, I worked with the founders and the board of that company to take that brand to a global audience. And, you know, for instance, one of the things I did for them that I'm doing for ASEA was launch a strategic media outreach campaign, and over about a 5.5-year period, created about 6.5 billion media impressions worldwide, and really helped, you know, put that brand on the global map, which was really fun and exciting. Unfortunately, like a few companies in this space, they kind of lost their way, and after 6 years, I moved on. For the past few years, I've consulted with a number of really almost exclusively in the direct sales space, and was kind of looking for the next great opportunity, kind of like you guys do on the other side of the equation. And hadn't found what I was looking for. I'd had some other offers to join some other companies, but just didn't feel like I had found what I was looking for until about 7 months ago. I'd noticed that a friend of mine from the previous company, who was now the head of compliance at ASEA, if you know Robert Jaramillo, I'd noticed that he'd looked at my LinkedIn profile, and I'd kind of lost contact with Robert, so I thought, I wonder where he is and why he's looking at my LinkedIn profile. And I noticed that he was with this company called ASEA, and so I contacted Robert and said, you know, what's going on? And he said, well, you know, we're actually recruiting for a PR person. You were the first person that I thought of, and I just looked at what you were doing right now, and he goes, you know, would you be interested in talking to our executives here? So he made that introduction, and I started kicking the tires, and the more I looked, the more, you know, excited I got. You know, I mean, it has all the ingredients that, again, I think you guys look at on the other side of the equation. You know, this amazing category-creating product that's protected by multiple patents, this redox signaling technology that's kind of changing the whole face of health and wellness. I mean, I was just immediately attracted to that. Had my own experience while they were recruiting me with the product, so, you know, I kind of became a convert there. I started interviewing with the executive team, and I mean, they are what we say they are. They're amazing, you know, extremely savvy businessmen with great experience, with great financial background and strategy. They have a great vision for this company, and I was just impressed as I met with each of them and asked them questions about where the company was going, what the strategy was, why they were doing this or that. And then on top of it, they're just really good guys. I mean, they are what you see. They're authentic, they're genuine, there's no big egos attached to it. And I was telling Paul before the broadcast, I've worked in the C-suite now for more than 20 years, and I've worked with some huge egos that, you know, gets in the way, really. And these guys are amazing. So that attracted me. I looked at the comp plan, which I think is extremely attractive and competitive, and I like the fact that it rewards associates all along the business continuum. And then, you know, I went down to the production facility, you know, south of headquarters, and saw, you know, a company that had the vision 3.5 years in to build its own production facility, pay cash for it, and allowing us to control the production of our product. And then finally, I love the fact that this company is focused on people, and it's a culture that sees associates as partners, you know, not the enemy. You guys are the partners, and we have founders and executives that are committed to helping you develop both professionally and personally. So when they offered me the opportunity to come aboard, I jumped at the fact, and I've been there now for 6 months. And, you know, sometimes the longer you're involved somewhere, you start to see the holes, and you become disenchanted. The more I'm there, the more excited I am about what's happening and what the future of this company is.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. And You know, in order to properly market something or represent something, you really have to understand it, and that was quite a great, really, synopsis and an analysis of ASEA as a whole, as a company. So it's great having you wave the flag out there to the general public and all the other different communication channels. Along those lines, I've actually had the privilege of seeing some of the great things that Bob has done. All the way back to our Envision conference here in Las Vegas. Bob has put together these little focus groups. He's working with a extremely prestigious PR firm out there, and they've been interviewing various groups of people, not only within the business, outside of the business, testing messaging concepts. And I've seen Bob in the ABC platform meetings, from the new business automation platform meetings, and some of the fruits of his labor was actually shared at the Global Advisory Council meeting in Germany. So Bob, I was wondering if you could just share with our audience maybe some of the things that you're able to share that you've been working on that help to create a positive impression about ASEA, its products, and its business opportunity.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think, first of all, I'd like to say, I think the company is really at a tipping point, Paul, where it's extremely important that we're very strategic about how we both advance and protect the brand. And again, I give kudos to our founders and executives who recognize this too. One of the things that I noticed and immediately started having conversation with our executives about, and which is pretty typical of a young emerging company, was the fact that our brand messaging was kind of fragmented. Sometimes it was inconsistent. As I interviewed associates, some were talking about the company one way and others another way. There was even sometimes inaccurate messaging about the company, the technology, our products, and so forth. So one of the first things that I was charged with and I asked to undertake was kind of a rebranding, a relook at the brand and honing it so that it was consistent. And I mean, if you think of any really powerful global brands that you can think of, they're extremely consistent in their messaging. So whether it's an executive talking from stage or on a conference call, or it's customer service, or it's a sales rep, or it's an ad, the message is consistent wherever you go. And so the goal of this whole messaging project that I undertook for the last 4 months, was to really create, at this point of our existence, a really powerful master narrative that would inform all of our marketing efforts, all of our communication efforts. So, as you mentioned, Paul, I started with interviewing executives, interviewing associates, how you guys talked about the business, how executives were talking about the business, what the founders and executives' vision of the company was. And then we started doing focus groups and talked to associates about where their challenges were in talking about the products or the business opportunity, what's working, what's not. And then, as you say, I've had the privilege of partnering with one of the world's top 3 PR firms, multinational PR firms, Hill & Knowlton in Los Angeles, and we've just completed concluded this project, and the result is an extremely powerful and compelling master narrative that you'll see now deployed across all of our communication vehicles, all of our entire enterprise, in sales tools, on the web, and so forth. And you'll see that ramping up in preparation for convention, where all of that will be introduced. So that's the first thing, and it's extremely powerful. Just to give you, an example of some other things that are underway, I'm also starting to create and implement a strategic media outreach program for ASEA as well in all of our markets. And maybe you've seen a little bit of it. We just started some of this in December, where we sent out a news release. We did a satellite media tour that brought a lot of attention to Renew 28 in major cities, and I mean, we had thousands of online hits, 20 TV and radio interviews, and so it's the beginning of creating that brand awareness for our company, for our product, for the business opportunity, and so forth. Sometimes associates say, why does a network marketing company need to do media outreach or editorial placement and so forth? I think in this digital age, if we're not telling our story, if we're not driving the story in the marketplace, someone else will. And so one of the important things that our executives have understood is we need to control the message out there, and we do that with a number of initiatives, including media relations, that create the story out there. And then for you guys, what it does is, as we create awareness, and as you share the ASEA message, maybe somebody's seeing something about the company or about our products, and so it makes it easier to share. It also gives very credible third-party validation, especially to our products, as it's covered in a positive way, and it gives you tools kind of in your sales arsenal to go, look, this publication, this writer, this editor, this blogger is saying these things that I'm saying, but it's validating what you're saying to those that you're sharing the products and opportunity with as well. So those are a few things that I'm undertaking right now.
Super.
So Bob, you just mentioned something that I'm sitting here smiling because I talk with clients all the time about it. In today's digital age, you actually have to take control of the perception of how people see you. Part of it, one side is PR. The other is online marketing, social media, taking advantage of the search engines so they see your content as being valuable. I say this because I am a digital marketing expert. I own an SEO and digital marketing agency. So I
need to talk to you, David.
So I have clients worldwide. So it's really exciting to me because one of the things that I talk about all the time is, well, PR is great. And in fact, it's funny you talk about PR. How I actually got into speaking originally, and this was not tangent, but I owned a national franchise company years ago, and the only way back then to advertise yourself was really being paid advertising, being in all these online paid portals. And I had someone who showed me the light on PR and I'm aging myself, the beginnings of Facebook and social media, be able to capitalize and put it all together. So I'm really glad that you're here doing all this. And can you share, what some of the things that's being done? Because right now, we haven't necessarily taken control of our online presence, I should say, as a company.
Yeah, I'm glad to share. I think like any communications initiative, your digital presence, whether it's social media, your web presence, or communications to the field, has to be strategic, and it has to relate to the brand messaging that I just talked about a little bit ago. Some companies think all I have to do is put up a website, have a Facebook page, but there's no kind of reason to it. On the social media side, I've been able to, since I came to the company, hire two really seasoned veterans who really know digital marketing very well. Some of you may have heard of Shane Martindale. He's the manager of our digital marketing area, and then Lowry Johnson, who is kind of our social media guru. And the whole goal of any social media initiative, as you know, David, is to create powerful, compelling content that engages the communities that you're trying to reach. And in our case, of course, that's associates, potential associates, anybody interested in ASEA, whether on the ranging from customers to preferred customers to associates. And so one of the things that I noticed, and again is fairly typical with new companies, when I came to ASEA, kind of our social media presence was more informational. I looked at our Facebook page, and I kind of talked about the fact that it was more of a bulletin board that had great information but wasn't particularly engaging our community. So one of the things that I charged Shane and Lowry with is really creating a strategy to engage the communities. And if you've been on Facebook recently, you'll see that there's more conversation out there, there's more engagement, there's more interest, and the content's really starting to shift and change. In addition to Facebook, we're also expanding kind of our footprint to other social sites like Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, certainly YouTube. And so that's, again, we're kind of at the beginning of that shift, but you're going to see a strategy and engagement that will really support what you're doing in the field. As far as field communications, I'm responsible for that as well, and a lot of what have been done to this point is blasting out emails. And certainly there's a place for emails to the field, especially where there's urgent issues or, you know, notifications of information, but you know, there has to be a strategy to that too. And if you're just blasting emails constantly, what you see is people start unsubscribing. They start looking at corporate emails as spam, and you know, it becomes problematic. Then you're kind of undercutting the whole purpose of it. So I've done an analysis of, you know, all of our communications. We're looking at, you know, emails, click rates, open rates, and stuff like that. What does work to send by email, and then what works communicating via social media, banners on our website, the virtual office. So we're starting to become more sophisticated in our method and approach, and using analytics to support that as we look at communications to the field, because we want to put in your hands important information, but if you're not seeing it, if it's not in, you know, via the vehicle that you're looking at, it doesn't do us a whole lot of good. So we're upping the ante on that side. As far as SEO, search engine optimization, again, we hadn't done a whole lot to this point, but we're starting to really engage, and I'm paying a lot of attention to that. We've engaged some outside consultants. Shane Martindale, who I mentioned, is also an expert in SEO. And we're starting to really work to, and keeping in mind the new guidelines, the Google guidelines for browser rankings, we're starting to work with consultants to help drive up great content, drive down the less favorable content. We're doing that in North America, you know, Europe, and globally. So we've engaged partners that will help us do that. The other part of the SEO strategy also has to do with the proactive media outreach that I talked about, because the more positive content that's placed out there, whether it's online or in traditional media, helps to drive up positive stories and positive rankings. So we're paying attention to all of that. We're putting strategy behind it. And I think you'll see, especially as far as Google rankings and stuff like that, by mid-year you're going to start to see a real difference, and by this time next year we'll have it, you know, really cleaned up, and it will help you again as people as they find out about ASEA and they go do a Google search. We want as many positive, you know, upper rankings as we can get. So anyhow, that's kind of what we're doing there.
Fantastic. Now, I understand that you're also responsible for corporate sponsorships, including the ASEA Athlete Program. What can you tell us about the company's strategies on these fronts?
Well, probably many of you have seen the ASEA Athlete site, and there has been a strategy there. I mean, I think we're trying to send a couple messages through the ASEA Athlete program as we engage with elite athletes, and they become company and brand, you know, company spokespeople, brand ambassadors. I mean, the first thing is we're saying to other elite athletes, look at these guys. I mean, they're having amazing experience with the product. They're having, you know, they're experiencing better endurance, better recovery, and it's helping their overall performance. So, you know, that's one part of the the program. The other part is a message to people like you and me that, maybe weekend warriors or, that aren't particularly super active, but the message is if elite athletes are, benefiting from this product, then somebody like me better take a look at it because it could help me too. And what I've started to do is, again, put a strategy behind it. I've developed some guidelines and a policy to help guide the strategy. So we're getting more return on investment as we partner with different elite athletes. We're getting more proactive in who we profile and go after. And you're going to see some of that at convention again, because we're going to have some of the athletes on site to do breakout sessions. They'll be in our expert area of the store and so forth. And so you're going to see that develop and bloom as well, along with some of the other things that we're doing.
And so, just a real quick question on that. The company's policy has kind of been not to pay, athletes for endorsements with the feel of like, that, oh, we're paying, and so they'll say, anyone will say something just because of they're getting some money for that. Is that going to continue, or is something going to change in that front?
No, I mean, truly, there's different. If you saw this policy, there's different levels of sponsorship. Some of them are product only, and some athletes, that's all that they want. Certainly, any athlete that we're working with is using the product, and they've got to have a strong testimony of the product. But yeah, I mean, as we grow and as we have the resources, we're going to engage with higher profile athletes in all kinds of endurance sports. And, they'll become, like you see with other companies, brand ambassadors, spokespeople. It gives some cachet to the brand and also some credibility that these athletes are using the product, they believe in it, and it all works together to help support what you guys are doing in the field.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to know, because especially the higher profile athletes and celebrities, they sometimes require some sort of compensation because they're agents and they're kind of owned as their own brand. So, but as long as they're truly and genuinely communicating their real experience with it, then that's still a good thing.
The athlete program, we're bringing on brand ambassadors all over the world again. We just signed a really neat spokesperson in Mexico, for instance, that she's both a performance athlete and a model, so she can speak both to ASEA, the supplement, and Renew 28. And I'm going to Mexico at the end of this month to do some training with her, to do some video shooting, photo shoots, and then we're doing a big media event at the end of March in Mexico City to introduce her and kind of really formally launch the company in Mexico City to media there. So we're doing stuff like that everywhere, and you'll see some of that in North America as well in the U.S.
Super.
Awesome. Well, Bob, it was great having you here at our Connection Hangout. Any final thoughts that you would like to leave everyone with?
Well, I guess I would just say and repeat that this is an awesome time to be a part of this company. I think there is every ingredient to become, in the very near future, a $500 million company, $1 billion company. And again, a lot of companies say that, but I really believe that this is where this company is headed, because we're doing.
You saw my thumbs up.
Yeah, we're doing stuff right here. We're doing stuff strategically. We're not, for instance, we're not rushing into every market. We're making sure we have the resources and the infrastructure in place to support markets that we open. I see a lot of our competitors, and I was part of a company that rushed into markets. We weren't able to support it, and we might have seen an initial influx of revenue, but it peaks out pretty quickly when you can't support markets. So we're doing so many things really well, and I think this is an extremely exciting time to be a part of ASEA, and I mean, I have to believe that in the role that I play with media and others, and I truly do.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Bob, for being on our Hangout tonight.
Thanks for inviting me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Exciting things. Looking forward to all this media. Again, what this is going to do for everyone out there is provide, like Bob said, that extra credibility, extra validation. Once you start seeing people asking you, hey, is that the same stuff that I just saw or read about in that magazine? I mean, it gives you more credibility, and more people will start to rush and swarm looking for the product and the opportunity as well. Really quick, a mention, next week we have a very special hangout. It's going to be the Diamond Connection, and we are looking for questions. Now, these can be questions regarding anything, product related, opportunity related, whatever, corporate related, company history related. What you need to do, okay, so take a note here, is go to connectiononair.com. Now, that's the site you're on right now, by the way. In the comments thread right beneath the screen here, we want you to type in questions. Okay? Now, for those of you out there, for those of you active associates out there who love to jump in and answer questions, I'm going to ask you to refrain, okay? Hold back, hold yourself back, okay, from that temptation to answer every question, because we want to answer those questions live and on the air with some of our special guest diamonds that we're going to have.
Maybe they should put diamond question or diamond diamond hangout question in the front so they know not to answer it.
Great, that'd be a great suggestion. So if you could put maybe in all caps diamond question and then ask your question after, we'll take those. And look beneath to see any other questions and click on like. We do want you to click if you like a question or like say, yeah, I wish I would have thought of that question. Click on like, because we're going to take the ones with the most likes and answer those ones live on the air. We're also going to give out prizes. So if we use your question on the air, you're going to get a prize mailed to you. And we've got stuff from product, from brochures. By the way, we've got some new brochures, even the Spanish version of it now. Some swag. So you may get a T-shirt, a water bottle, or something. You never know. So we've got a bunch of great stuff. And the more people that are participating, the better the stuff is that we're going to give away. Okay, so be sure to ask your questions there, and be sure to tune in live and have everyone tune in live, because there will be a question asked at the end of the hangout, and there'll be a button. And the first one to respond and answer the question correctly based on the information that you just heard will get a great prize as well. So we want to get as many live viewers on the Hangout as well next week. So again, connectiononair.com. We'll post it probably by tomorrow, the connectionhangout.com Facebook event page for that, so you can join. Make sure you get as many of your associates there as possible. Okay, in closing, I want to thank Platinum Executive Brent Brooks for moderating your comment thread. You see underneath the screen.
I want to thank Paul Tyra, my co-host, for doing everything he does this week.
All right, and once again, special thanks to Bob Fries, our special guest this evening. Okay, everybody, go out and have a fantastic rest of your evening, rest of the week, and I'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Night.
Night.